Hello, my name is Pooja. Welcome to a new episode of Around the World. Recently, general elections were held in Sweden. These elections were conducted by the Swedish Electoral Authority for the Riksdag, municipal councils and regional councils. Riksdag is the name of the Parliament of Sweden. In the final results announced on 15th September, the right-wing coalition led by the Sweden Democrats won 76 seats, while the left-wing coalition won 173 seats. The incumbent Prime Minister Magdalena Andersson, who leads the left coalition, resigned from the post of Prime Minister after accepting her defeat. Although no party has got an absolute majority in these elections, the leader of the largest winning coalition, Ulf Kristersson, is preparing to form a government. Ulf Kristersson is the president of the Moderate Party. In today's episode, we will try to understand various aspects related to this issue. That is, why these elections held in Sweden are in news, will it change anything in the politics of Sweden, and what is the importance of these elections at the national and international level. Let us first of all understand the political structure of Sweden. Sweden has a parliamentary system similar to that of Britain and India. Since 1971, the Riksdag is unicameral parliament whose members are elected for a 4-year term. However, unlike Britain and India, the Prime Minister of Sweden is both the head of the government and the state. The Prime Minister is also called the Minister of State. The Prime Minister of Sweden is selected by the Riksdag or the Parliament of Sweden. The President of the Riksdag, after consultation with the winning parties, nominates a candidate for the post of Prime Minister. Voting takes place in the name of the nominated candidate. Only if more than 175 members disagree on the name of the nominee for the post of the Prime Minister, then the President of the Riksdag will look for another candidate for the post of Prime Minister. Otherwise, the nominee will be elected as the Prime Minister of Sweden. It implies that a nominated Prime Minister does not necessarily have to be endorsed by more than half members, that is, 175 members, to become the Prime Minister of Sweden. Rather, it is required that there should be less than 175 members against the nominated Prime Minister. It is called negative parliamentarism. The selected Prime Minister further appoints other ministers as per the needs. Significantly, the political landscape of Sweden has changed tremendously in the last 2 decades. With the advent of new parties, the number of parties in Sweden has increased from 5 to 8. In the Scandinavian nation, the Sweden Democrats Party, Moderate Party, Christian Democrats Party, etc. are the parties that follow a right-wing ideology, while Swedish Social Democratic Party, Green Party and Left Party are the parties that follow leftist ideology. Notably, for the first time, power in Sweden will transfer from the left parties to the right-wing parties. Actually, an ideological conflict existed between a conservative coalition led by the traditional left Social Democratic Party and the Moderate Party. However, there has been a radical transformation in the politics of Sweden since the Sweden Democrat Party entered into politics. Sweden, once famous as a welfare state, is now battling the challenge of economic corruption, anti-immigrant stance, and political polarization. With regard to the election results from 2002 to 2022, excluding the election results of 2022, the Social Democratic Party and the Moderate Party have always been in power with the absolute majority. In the 2014 and 2018 elections, there was a limited competition between the Social Democrats Party and the Moderate Party. In the meantime, the Sweden Democrats Party, founded in 1988, gradually built up its political ground. Key issues raised by the Sweden Democrats Party after 2015 include opposing immigration, keeping Sweden as Sweden, and maintaining an equal distance from Russia and the US became very popular among the common people. In addition to making anti-immigration its main issue, the party vehemently expressed its views on the issue of Muslims and refugees from the Middle East and the Balkans, which further increased the party's popularity in Sweden. Along with the increase in the migrant population, there was also an increase in racism and xenophobia in Sweden, and to deal with these issues, the Sweden Democrat Party called for adopting a zero-tolerance policy. In this context, xenophobia means having prejudices against people of other countries or people of different races or nationalities than oneself. Now, the question that arises is, what political changes can be seen in Sweden in the future from the international politics point of view? Actually, Sweden follows the foreign policy of non-alignment, that is, it stays away from any military factionalism. Hence, Sweden also maintained a distance from NATO and the Warsaw Pact. However, Magdalena Andersson, who became Sweden's first female Prime Minister in 2021, spoke of joining NATO after Russia invaded Ukraine, abandoning their historical policy of non-alignment. Sweden and Finland formally applied for NATO membership this year. However, Turkey, a member of NATO since 1952, has opposed the membership of Sweden and Finland. Turkey argued that these countries back the terrorist organization Kurdish group. Significantly, Sweden has been a supporter of liberal and progressive ideas for years, which is the main reason for its growth. Sweden's social and cultural development is well known. In this regard, if Sweden becomes a member of NATO, then up to some extent it will have to compromise with a power like the US. NATO might influence the neutral and independent foreign policy being followed by Sweden over the years. On the other hand, Russia is also constantly trying to increase its dominance in the world. The biggest challenge for the newly formed government will be to figure out ways for dealing with the growing dominance of Russia and the US. It is quite possible that Sweden may not join NATO and continue to follow its old foreign policy of non-alignment. Since the main electoral agenda of the coalition is the policy of Sweden first and stopping immigration, therefore a new law regarding immigration may be introduced. In this regard, non-Nordic immigrants from Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria and communities such as Somali Town, Chinatown and Little Italis may face strict immigration and deportation regulation in the coming years. That's all in this episode. Let us note down the question based on today's story. Analyze the Sweden elections of 2022 from the point of view of national and international politics.